Hello there and welcome to an unboxing. You've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail, and you'll definitely know what I'm opening if you saw yesterday's unboxing video. Do be sure to watch that, as I did open my first CMF of the year. But today we're getting straight into the LEGO 2024 Clone vs Droid Battle Pack, which is an amazing set, and even the box feels really good. It feels really packed in. It is quite small compared to my head, at least. It's about 1.5 head width, so it's quite a concealed box. I quite like the smaller boxes, and hopefully all sets end up having paper bags soon. I'm not actually quite sure which sets do have the paper bag, so it'll be a surprise if they're in this box. Of course, we still have the classic thumb tabs, but it's a nice little box, and for the first time in, well, as long as I can remember, I haven't built the set before filming. So I'm going to build this, and when I'm done, we'll get onto the review. It's been a while since I've been able to do a quick time lapse of any of the sets that I'm building, because usually I haven't built by the time I'm making the video. So it's sort of a special occasion here that I'm able to do this. But as you can see, plastic bags, not paper, which isn't the end of the world. Paper bags are coming, and hopefully they're ready by the next wave of Star Wars sets, because I assume the Firehawk also didn't know. I'm sure some of the themes have already got the paper bags that perhaps weren't made so much time in advance. But nonetheless, it's a great build. They spread the minifigures out through the bags quite well. I mean, bag 2 was quite a big bag when you look at bag 1 and 3, and it did have the smaller plastic bag in it, but they still could have made it a lot smaller, unless perhaps they don't have the accurate machines in order to not crush half of the smaller bag. But nonetheless, I can't wait for paper bags, and I really enjoyed this build. As you can see, the Droid is quite a straightforward build, I guess, which I sort of already knew from mocking it out based on the first images we got, and that video is up. I might do a comparison because these builds are just so different, but I really do like this battle set and definitely think I'll be picking up a new one. So now let's take a look at the minifigures. As you can see, now that I've built it, it's quite a decent battle pack. It is at that more expensive £25 rather than the sort of £20 that we used to see in for the others. At least 4 clones and something like this speeder and maybe this little bunker here would have set you back about £20. So realistically, you're getting the Droid, you're getting these B2s, which are amazing. We'll get to them in just a second. And 2 B1s and a STAP for an extra £5. I think that is well worth the money. I think it's technically an extra sort of £6-7, but I really like this size of battle pack, and the extra £5 really does give you so many pieces. The smaller battle packs, you're really just paying for the minifigure, so this is well worth your money, especially compared to them. I mean, we also get quite a few extra pieces. There's nothing really too special. The best part about it are, of course, the extra B1 battle droid arms, which I'm pretty sure I need an extra one of these straight arms at least. If not, both of these will be going on some of my old droids where the arms have just broken off, or actually I'm more likely to have lost these than broken them. So it's very nice. You pretty much get a spare piece of any piece that's quite small. These red clips, if you've seen my Technic pin video where I go through the differences in all the colours of the Technic pins, is very useful for my mock building, but really there's nothing else too special. While I'm on spare pieces, this is my spare piece tub from all the sets over Christmas, and really most of the sets leading up to Christmas. Between me and my fiance, we have filled it, so I'm definitely going to need to empty it soon. But now, taking a look at the minifigures, I think the first minifigure we will have to do is the brand new one, this Phase 2 shiny clone. I mean, I guess it's not exactly brand new. It's brand new for the last couple of years. We have got plain shiny clone troopers before, but nowhere near this good looking. Of course, back printing, and as with all the new clone troopers, some very nice toe printing, and of course the sort of Django headpiece, I guess, that we expect to see, the actual head and face printing completely identical to all the other clones, which I guess somewhat makes sense for his clone brothers, as they are just that, clones. But I would like to see some variety in expressions, especially amongst the name ones. I do like Commander Cody's new face, and of course Rex having a new face, but just a mixture of faces, or as I always say, much like the Harry Potter wizard cards, just have a random selection of faces that you can almost collect in a few of the sets. The same selection and perhaps only like 4 different heads, but just a random chance of getting each one with each clone, because that really makes each battle pack and each set very special. So that was the Phase 2 Shiny Clone Trooper, and we also have an updated B2 Battle Droid. Now, the arms and legs are more or less the same. I mean, they weren't really too fragile, not compared to the B1. So it's very nice to see the B2 returning at all 2 styles. I definitely want to pick up a few more for these and the plain Phase 2 clones. But as you can see, the body print is slightly updated. Not only do we have this little dot here, which I would have very much valued it having that little red printed dot. Maybe I'll just grab a little red whiteboard pen and dot one of these figures at some point anyway. But it's also got a much slender B1 head on the inside. If you didn't know, the B2s are more like armoured B1s, as they do have the B1 sort of frame inside. So this head here is identical to that of a B1, and Lego have made it more or less so. I guess it's slightly smaller in this scale, but that's just because of how big the B1's head has to be for it to be a separate Lego piece. But I don't think they'll shrink the B1s anytime soon. It's very nice for this updated B2, and as I said, arms and legs are more or less the same. Probably some updated plastic, but their molds are pretty much identical. When putting on the arms, I found it best to put them on at near enough a 90-degree, because then you can use your thumb to sort of support the B2 and just clip it in place. And I don't think I'll ever be taking these apart, because, well, I don't think I've really got much of a choice. There are very, very secure attachment points and a nice 90-degree bending for the arm. So perhaps the B2 has powered down, or you could probably even sit it in some sort of ship, which would look really, really funky. But I really like the B2, and of course, we do have 2 new B1s, but the only difference are the hands. You can see here, we've got 2 of the bent arms, which isn't new for a droid, but tends to be limited to the commanders and the different coloured torsos, as they don't tend to be the ones fighting. And then, because we have them 2 arms, Lego have come through and given this droid 2 of these straight arms, which does mean you can just pop off one of these arms. Try not to do it how I did it. It looked like it was going to snap at any point, but pop off each of these arms and give them their more regular arms, which is probably what I'll end up doing. I much prefer this sort of battle droid. That way it can not only hold a gun, but you've still got the bent arm if you want it to attach to an STAP or want it to drive any of the vehicles. So thank you, Lego, for that. Honestly, that is something that's going to be well underappreciated, but I appreciate it. And last but not least, we have a brand new figure for this channel, and that's just because I haven't picked up the Coruscant gunship yet. I do want to do that, especially around May 4th, depending on the gift we purchase. But we do have a Coruscant Shock Trooper, the same from the gunship, so I won't go into it in too much detail. I'll save that for my eventual gunship review, but it's a nice looking clone, and I'm really liking the toe printing. It just brings out a bit more in the characters. And actually, for these clones, I've got something very special. So as soon as this set got announced, Firestar came out with, or I mean, they probably already had the printed arms for not only the Coruscant Troopers, which probably come out closer towards the Coruscant Guard gunship, but also for the Phase 1 Shiny Troopers. And as you can see, they are very, very detailed, and there does actually seem to be some wear on the Coruscant Guard's arm. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be there with the printing, but they do look very cool. You've even got detailing down to where the hands and gloves are around the lower arm. So it looks really cool, and I'm just going to whack these on the clones and show you them with full printing. And actually, while I'm doing this, I want to show one of my top tips for pulling off arms. You don't want to pull at the hands, because that can lead to cracking in the arms themselves. So what you want to do is really get your thumb on this lower arm here, pull the arm out, get your thumb on that, and that's what you want to use to just pop out the arms. It limits any sort of breakages, and I really do believe that's the reason why I've had very few, I know I've definitely had one, but very, very few cracks on my minifigure arms. Now, I will be leaving the link in the description to these arms, and of course, if you do go over there, use my code for an extra 10% off, and it does support the channel as well as getting you that extra money off, which is always handy when it comes to buying Lego or any Lego styled product. And all these arms are official Lego arms, so although it is custom printing, they are on official Lego pieces, which I don't know if you can really see. There is a Lego mark there. I don't think the camera is going to pick it up, so I won't try, but you've got to take my word, they are all official Lego pieces, which is really cool because if you're buying a custom arm, over time it's just going to wear down, and especially when used with Lego's ABS, it's not going to hold up to the same standard that Lego does indeed use. So by using official Lego arms, it just enables it to be worn and torn with the rest. Okay, they might not last forever, but take it from me, Lego lasts pretty well for the 15 years I've been using it. Some of my early clones from the first Lego set I've bought are still going strong today, even with their arms pulled in and out 1,000 times. So I will be reviewing my very first Lego set, which is indeed the 2009 Battle Pack, which is a video coming, I hope, later this month, as well as a few other special ideas I've got for my 15 years of Lego. It's sort of a continuation of my Lego Ideas project that I launched last year, but really they have nothing to do with each other. So as I'm putting on this last arm here, we will begin to look at the Battle Pack, and I must say this is the best Battle Pack that I've ever built. And as well as all these arms that you can see really do look nice on these clone troopers, they just bring out the best in them. And on top of all the printing that we saw earlier, these arms really do just bring the minifigures to the next level. They look really cool, and as you can see, just sort of fills out the gap that they had on the side, especially if you're not displaying your minifigures from the front and they're angled, or perhaps fighting in some sort of mock you've built for your display. They really will just bring it up to the next level. And if you've managed to pick up the Rex from the UCS set, you might as well buy all these arms for your minifigures. I think they're only about £3 per set of arms, which honestly, for the quality that goes into it, is really quite cheap. So I really am a fan of these 5-star arms. You'll see them on so many of my other mocks and custom characters, and even characters that I might not have built myself but just wanted to bring to the next level, like most of my Luke Skywalker minifigures, because they do look really cool. And amongst all of these droids, clones, tri-droids, I am a huge fan of this battle pack. We will eventually be taking a look at all the builds. I've gone on long enough about the minifigures. So first up, we have this clone sort of BARC speeder. It's based on the early Lego design of the BARC speeder. I will show you on the left the comparison between, I'm pretty sure it was the first Lego Star Wars battle pack. It definitely was the first clone battle pack, and I think it started this whole obsession, especially with a load of fans that were collecting Lego at the time. I know battle packs brought me into not only Lego Star Wars, but Lego in general. So it was a cheap and affordable way to get people interested in these bricks. And I think they've done a good job in not only updating the build, but also keeping the nostalgia of the original build itself. It's a really neat build, some cool pieces, and actually gives you a few extra of these black pieces here, which of course are mech fingers. So if you bought enough of them, I suppose every 3 battle packs you buy, you have enough fingers for your mech. It's something that if you're buying enough of them, you might want to know. We also have this STAP, not to be confused with the one from the Advent. Again, I'll make a whole comparison video comparing this set to not only the mock that I've built, but also the Advent, as they are sort of one in the same. And I did use the Advent's STAP for my mock of this set, but it's quite a, well, it's bigger than the Advent, but it's not as big as some of the STAPs we have got in the last few years. Compared to the size of the droid, again, as I said, using that left arm, you can clip it to the top there and stand it just above. It's about scale to how you see him in universe. I personally think it's too big, mainly in this top area. It just sticks out a bit too much and sort of dwarfs the droid from some angles. So I really do like the build, but I'll definitely be updating this sometime in the future, so stay tuned for my alternate builds from this mock. The bunker is quite a good side piece also, and you do get a space to clip these two weapons. It is very strange that the clones didn't come with guns, but as you see on the back of the speeder, the turret on the back are two guns, so I guess you can just pull them out and give them to your clones. But if you wanted the clones to have no weapons whatsoever, and perhaps they're just fighting the droids with their fists, which wouldn't be for the first time, then you can clip the guns just in here. The big one from the shiny and the pistol from the Coruscant Guard, who's, I guess, sort of leading these troops into battle for this set, as he is the one with the pistol, tends to be the one in charge. And you've also got some shields that I guess not only look good for this display, but they can also defend themselves with, as you see many times in the Clone Wars, especially when the Coruscant Guard were used as more of a police force. And in this small container, you get two thermal detonators. Now, technically, you only get one with the set, but I have put the spare thermal detonator in, which chances are you'll probably also be getting, unless there is indeed a mistake with the first one. But when there tends to only be one piece in the set, you can't really get the weight wrong because it's just not zero. If you don't get that first piece, I guess you might not get the spare, but either way, you get some thermal detonators to put in this canister. No printing. I would have loved the equivalent of the Imperial printing for the Republic era. Again, as I said, it would make a great gonk, and I feel we could have even got a gonk in this set. Just a few extra pieces here, but I guess they didn't want to take away from this bunker. I would have definitely preferred a gonk to a weapons rack. But on to the, I guess, the main build of the set. It's sort of another minifigure. It depends if you count the giant Chitauri in the Avengers Tower as a minifigure. I definitely would, so I'm including this as the 10th minifigure, which would be cool. I guess it's no minifigure, but there we go. The first feature right inside at the top. We've got this little brain, or this little powering unit. I'm not sure really the canon reason for this in Star Wars, but I will say I love this bottom piece as it lines up with the gaps from the top grey element, and it doesn't show too well on camera, but they do stick out at certain points. You can sort of see it there, and that lines up with the grey dome on top. Of course, the head does spin around, does use that red Technic piece, so it spins around with the top and the bottom, which is quite cool. And the legs are very poseable, much like the custom tri-droid I built. You can have it grappling over all sorts of territory, and even though I've bent the legs up to sort of diminish its height a little bit, you can have them really sticking out and have them reaching some really great heights with the rest of your sort of mocks. You can display this very, very nicely, and it sort of fits into all sceneries, even if you only have a small one. All I've done is bent these legs up fully, that goes in fully, and bend these one off from the straight angle, and that sort of makes it closer to the scale you'll see it in the Clone Wars. So it's very nice. The legs are so poseable, and the head does spin. There is one play feature with this set, one function, and that is these flick fire missiles here in sort of the droid's body region, just under the eyes, do flick off, and they are the sort of classic flick fire missiles that we're more used to rather than the stud shooters. And as you probably heard in the background, they absolutely go flying and can even, I suppose, knock over this STAP. I really like the base of this STAP. You can just detach it from here and stud it to really any surface, which enables it to fit in the tightest of gaps around your mock. And even just get rid of that altogether, there is a clear stud in here, which if I grab this piece right here, can actually be displayed off of some sort of wall. So first off, taking this piece out, it's not really an alternate build as it does require the extra piece, but what you can do is completely remove this transparent stud and replace it with the stud at the end of this sort of long translucent bar element, or transparent bar element, and then just build it back as you would without changing really anything else. And you have this extended bar which enables you to just display it, and from the side on you won't even see that bar element. It's nice and hidden, and you probably even get some blasters or smoke or something out the side if it wanted to be in the middle of a fight. So this is really cool. I really actually like this way of displaying it because you can just clip it to your other builds and have it just flying around, which is really cool. I'm surprised LEGO didn't think of something like this when they put the set together, but this is the first battle pack of 2024, and hopefully there will be some more. I can't see this being the only one, especially with the two smaller ones we got last year. And we even had the Snowtrooper one running at the same time. Of course, that's retired. We've still got the other smaller battle packs from last year. And again, if you want to buy the custom arms, use my code. It's on screen now, and also gives you these bonus white arms free to perhaps replace all your other cracked arms, especially if you've got some of the older clones. That is all for today's video. I really do like all these new clones and droids we're getting as of recent. There's a big emphasis on Clone Wars, and I am really enjoying it. So I can't wait to see what the rest of 2024 holds. And don't forget to like if you did indeed like the video. Subscribe for more reviews coming soon. If you don't know what other January sets I've got, do check out yesterday's video, as I do show them off, as well as building that CMF minifigure. And as always, may the bricks be with you.